Assalamualaikum. I'm going to present my final year project proposal. The title for the final year project proposal is Adaptive Learning Style Identification Using Decision Tree Classification in New Future. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Sharul Arifin Bishafi'i, metric ID 2019-643-758, and I'm from class CS 2595C. For the next one, I will talk about the introduction. For the introduction, since the pandemic started, students are required to learn from face-to-face to online learning. Most of the learning materials and learning activities are usually stored in UFeature and Mock UFeature. Mock UFeature is learning platform where students engage with other students and lecturers, and they get learning materials. Also, to also check their learning progress while they're learning. The benefits for lecturers, they can update and change their material, and the benefits for students, easier for them to find the material. However, most students are not active or either participate due to the lack of interactive materials. Thus, adaptive learning style identification for UFuture should be adopted to enhance the strategy of teaching material. Next is the problem statement. The first problem is learning style is not static. Learning style is not static and can change based on the learning progress, and use the same learning method is not effective. The second one is lecturers cannot deal with diverse learning style, and the learning process is not effective. These are the research questions. For the first one is the variables. What are the variables to identify learning style? The second one is design. How to design a system that identifies learning style adaptively in your feature using decision tree classification. And finally, for the third question is how to develop a system that identifies learning style adaptively in your feature using decision tree classification. Here are the objectives. There are three objectives. The first one is to identify the variables that identify learning style in UFeature, to design a system that identifies learning style adaptively in UFeature using decision tree classification, and third one, to develop a system that identifies learning style adaptively in UFeature using decision tree classification. The next one is the scope. There are two. The age group. The age group of the student age group is between 18 years old and studied at UATM. And the second one is availability. All students and lecturers can use the system in mock UFeature. For the significant, for the first one is to overcome limitation. To overcome students' limitation in learning the material, student will have a better idea how student will learn. For the second one, teach effectively. It can help lecturers to teach more effectively. The third one is cope with different learning style, to help lecturers to cope with different learning styles of students. For the next one, I will explain about the literature review. This is actually the overview of my literature review. For the next part is the research methodology. Here we have 8 phrases. The first one is preliminary study, knowledge gathering and acquisition, data collection, data pre-process, system design, system development, system evaluation, and documentation. I will explain each of the phrases on the next slide. For the first one is the preliminary study, and the activities are the topic selection, topic investigation, and problem identification. And the outcome is the title of the proposal, which is Adaptive Learning Style Identification using Decision Tree Classification in UFeature. And the background of study, problem statement, research question, objective, scope, and the significant. And the next one is knowledge gathering and acquisition. These activities is to find the literature review, articles, case study websites that relate to the domain and techniques, and the outcome is the literature review. For the next one, in the same objective, is finding the learning style of student. So the outcome is the Fielderman-Silver learning style, Fielder-Silverman learning style model. The learning style models are divided into 8 learning styles, which are active, reflective, sensing, intuitive, visual, verbal, sequential, and global learners. In the same objective, the approaches are for the data is data collection. The activities is to conduct a questionnaire based on the learning style index and use UFeature web activity data. So the outcomes are obtain the data from the questionnaire in UFeature web activity, data descriptive, data dictionary, and descriptive analysis. For the next approach is data preprocess. The UFeature web activity data will be preprocessed as a classification rule, and the outcome is obtain the UFeature web activity classification rule. For the second objective, in its approaches is system design and system architecture. So design the system architecture and the classification model. So the outcome is system design and system architecture. For the third objective is the approaches are system development, system evaluation, and documentation. For its activity for system development is classification model development and model training. So what we got is classification model. For the system evaluation, the activities that obtain is the model evaluation. That obtain is comparing the result with the target data set. And finally, for the documentation, writing the report, and what obtained is the final year project report. So here is my research progress. The already completed task is the problem identification and knowledge gathering and acquisition. In progress task is data collection and data preparation, pre-processing. And for the future task is the system design, system development, system evaluation, and documentation. For the next one, I will talk about the Gantt chart, the schedule for my final year project. For the first one is project title. The project title will be on until week 1 until week 5 and week 3. The problem identification will be on week 4 until week 8. Knowledge gathering and acquisition will be on week 9 until week 14. Data collection will be on for the next semester in week 1 and week 2. Data pre-processing will be on week 2 until week 4. System design will be on week 5 until week 8. System development and system evaluation will be on week 6 until week 11, and documentation will be on week 12 until week 14. Thank you, that is all. If you have any queries, you can contact me in this below. Thank you.